In section 4.6, we're going to be looking at financial considerations of car ownership. There's a lot of things that go into our finances, and one of those is how we can pay for a car. So let's first start with an auto loan. So when you purchase a car, you're going to be paying with equal installments. At the end of the installment period, you'll have the car paid off. So if we wanted to calculate the present value of our annuity, which in this case would be our car loan payment, we could use this formula. But I will let you know that this formula is rather difficult to deal with, and I think it is absolutely appropriate for us to use Excel to do this calculation. So we're going to look at example 1, but instead of using the formula, we're going to put this into Excel. So we have an interior designer who purchases a car for the total cost, including tax and license, for $42,523.98. So this designer obtains a 5-year loan with an annual interest rate of 2.79% compounded monthly. The designer is going to make a 20% down payment, and we want to determine the monthly car payment. So let's switch over to Excel and put all of this information into a worksheet for us. When you open Excel, you have a blank worksheet like this. And I like to organize my Excel worksheets by labeling what it is that I'm working with. And this will be particularly helpful as you're going through these examples in your homework, because some of these calculations will be done several times, and then you have a template that you'll be able to use and you can make changes. So the first thing that we want to look at is the cost of the car. And in this particular problem, we were given that it was $42,523.98. And since I'm not performing a calculation here, I did not have to hit equals before this. I just needed to type in my number. Now, one of the things that we have is the down payment. And when I type in down payment, I'll notice that I've run over the column. And so if I highlight in between, well, first I need to hit enter. But if I highlight in between, I get this little arrow, the two-way arrow, and I can click and drag, and that's going to give me some more space in my column. So my down payment, if I want to use a 20% down payment, then what I could do is I could just simply type in 20% here, and I could do a next one with my down payment amount. I need some more space again. And so what I can do here is I can hit equals, and I can take my cost of my car and multiply by that 20%. Now, it is important with your down payment that you do have a percent there, so that Excel knows to calculate this by multiplying by 0.2 for that 20%. And so now I have the down payment amount where I'm going to be able to change the down payment if I need to for a later problem. So the amount of the down payment is given here, and then the amount to finance is going to be the cost of the car minus that down payment amount. So since I'm looking ahead, I want to use Excel to do all of these calculations. So hit equals and click on the cell with the cost of the car, and then subtract. So I did the little minus button, and then the down payment. So I've just clicked on those, so if I make changes, those changes will automatically change this amount to finance. This is very helpful because you don't want to have to go in and change all of your formulas. You want to do things where they'll automatically update for you. So we have the amount to finance, and so we have two more things that we need to include here. We've got our interest rate. And for this one, we were given a 2.79%. We can just type that in like that, 2.79%. And then we have the term, how many payments? So this is a 5-year loan, and so that's going to be 60 payments. And then finally, what we're interested in is what are the payments? So here we use Excel's payment calculator, and we hit equals PMT. And then we need our rate. So we take our interest rate, that's yearly, divide that by 12. Then do a comma. That's going to switch over to the number of periods, which was the term of the loan. So we just click there. Again, I'm not typing in any numbers unless they're things that would never change, like the number of months in a year. This way I can make changes within my Excel sheet, and it will automatically update. Now the present value is going to be how much that you finance, so I'm going to click there. and then comma, the future value, you would assume that you would pay this off. So you would put a 0 there, close the parentheses, and hit equals, and you see that this car payment is going to be $608.11. Something else we want to consider is how much you can afford for a car payment. So if we want to consider this example here where William has determined that he can afford a monthly payment of $350 for a car, and he could obtain a 5-year loan at an annual interest rate of 4.3%. So let's go back to Excel and see how we can use this. So now in the cost of my car, that's actually what I'm going to want to determine. So this will be a good calculator for us calculating payments. I'm actually going to create a new little section for affordability. So let's do cost of car, and that's going to be what we calculate here in a minute. And we are going to assume that they don't make a down payment. What we're ultimately trying to do here is determine how much they can finance. And so if there's money for a down payment, that can just be added to the cost of the car. So we can include this, but it's not going to be something that we worry about quite yet. What we really are trying to solve for is the amount to finance. And that's what we're going to calculate. We need the interest rate. And in this problem, he had an interest rate of 4.3%. And the term here, he did a 5-year loan, so that is 60 months. And our payment, and what we're going to do here is assume that he's making $350 payments. So since these are payments that are paying down the amount, we do negative $350 for these payments. Now we're going to work backwards. So instead of calculating the payment, we want to calculate the present value. So in this amount to finance, we're going to click in there, hit equals, and we're going to do PV in order for us to solve that present value. So close the parentheses. It's going to ask for the rate. So we do our rate divided by 12. It's going to ask for the number of payments. We're going to click on that little term button, or the term cell, the B15 for where I typed all of this in, comma, your payment. And so that's going to be that B16. And again, assuming that we're going to pay this thing off, we put 0 there and hit enter. And you'll see that he can afford an $18,000 or $18,865.67. Now, what that now means is that's the most that he can finance. But let's say that he had $5,000 for a down payment, then the amount that he could purchase for a car would be the finance amount plus this down payment amount. And so if I add those two cells together, then that can help me see how much he can afford. So we can play with these numbers again. Maybe you can do a different interest rate, a different term. If he did a 6-year loan, then he could afford more on a car. Maybe he only had $2,500 for a down payment. You can make those kinds of changes and just keep working backwards by using the strength of Excel with these formulas.